The second part of this lecture is about toasting. So let's look at the tea first. You will be served hot tea often before the dinner begins. Chinese drink tea plain with leaves in the water. You can choose to drink or not. Don't eat the leaves. And pay attention. It is very hot. Such a cup is for hot tea, with or without a plate under the cup. Don't pour tea too much into the cup. 70% is enough. Otherwise, it will be too difficult to hold the cup or drink. Some Chinese won't have cold drinks even in summer. They like drinks at room temperature, or sometimes even warm, especially in cold weather. We believe that cold drinks are unhealthy because they will hurt the stomach. If you want cold drinks, you have to ask for ice, or ask the waiter if they have chilled ones. In Chinese, 冰的. But if you want water, boiling hot water will be served, unless you tell the waiter you want mineral water or water at room temperature. Few restaurants have diet sodas. Pepsi is more popular than Coca-Cola because Pepsi is sweeter. But there are other soft drinks, like Sprite or 7-Up, and quite a few of local drinks. Chinese fruit juices are very good, and most foreigners like them very well. This may be because they have fewer preservatives and taste fresher. You can find many different fruit juice and vegetable juice, but generally they are in room temperature, unless you ask for the iced one. Some vegetable juice, like corn juice, is warm, especially in cold weather. Most Chinese men like to drink alcoholic beverages, especially when they dine out with honored guests. Champagne is generally not served unless in a banquet. Beers, wines, and baijiu are usually seen on the table, so you have to distinguish which glass is for what. Beer is very popular in China. If you would like a beer, you can choose from a variety of brands, including Qingdao, Suntory, and Budweiser. These are the top 5 most popular. First, 雪花. 2, Qingdao. 3, Baiwei, that is Budweiser. 4, Harbin. And 5, Yanjing. Wine, usually red wine, will be a good companion with good dishes, in a formal situation, of course. And it is one of the most common choices for Chinese people. But many Chinese people can't tell the differences between wines. Chinese friends and colleagues will make repeated toasts. If several people from a host company are present, each feels obliged to make a toast. If you are not a drinker, you have to tell the host before the meal. You can fill your glass with juice. When toasting to another person, pay attention to the mouth of the glass. Lower your glass to the other if you want to show respect. But if both want to show respect at the same time, there will be a funny scenario that the two will lower down their waists than the other, and it's quite amusing. To avoid such thing, then there is a tip. Use your left hand to lift up the other one's glass gently, and then you can lower your glass to the other one's with your right hand, like this. Baijiu, a strong alcohol in China, is also quite often seen on the table, especially in northern part of China. Men are usually good drinkers, and they will have some baijiu in dinner. A good drinker will be considered masculine, who will be honest, open, hospitable, brave, confident, strong-willed, and can be regarded as a true friend. During the toasting and drinking in the dinner, some business negotiation will be agreed, some cooperation will be approved, and some contracts will be signed. It could be ridiculous in your eyes, but in China, that is the way businessmen communicate, and a business dinner is also kind of job, and the importance of the dinner is undoubted. Ganbei means bottom up, like cheers. You are expected to join your glass. Don't pour too much alcohol in your glass at any time, so that if you are asked to join it, you can do it without passing out. You should make at least one toast. And if your guests are important to you, make several toasts. When you make a toast, you should go over to the person and raise your glass and call him to arouse his attention. Before drinking, the toaster also needs to find an excuse and say something, like toast to the success of a venture, to our friendship, our cooperation, good health, and so on. When you toast, you need to bottom up to show respect. There is a saying in Chinese, deep feelings, then a gulp. Shallow feelings, just a leak. So how much you drink shows how important you think of the person. Meanwhile, you also need to think about the order to make a toast. Generally, the more important people, the earlier you need to make a toast to. Sometimes, you can get a chance to sit beside the distinguished guest when there's a vacancy beside the VIP guest. But this is usually in the second half of the dinner. Before that, you can't change the seat. Then you can have a talk with the VIP and make a repeated toasts to deepen your friendship. However, you need to remember your position and talk to the people in the same position. Otherwise, your boss will be annoyed if you grab his guest. Now let's see the toasting rules in detail as the following. First, pour wine. Usually the wine should be poured into the glass before drinking. Sometimes, in order to show respect and friendship to the guests, the host will pour wine for them. Pour wine to everyone orderly. You should be all-inclusive and treat everyone equally. Remember to pour for the guests one by one. First pour wine for the guests and then for the elders, then the ladies. If this is not the case, you can do it clockwise. As a guest, when someone pours wine for you, you should stand up or lean down to hold the glass with your hand to show respect. It is also possible to kowtow the fingers, that is, put index finger and middle finger together. and gently buckle them on the table to show your gratitude, like this. Neither too little nor too much. Generally speaking, when pouring the wine, you can't pour it too full to make it overflow. It usually takes up 80% of the glass, so that it won't spill out when you hold up the glass and propose a toast. However, beer can be filled. Then, go over to the person to pour wine for him. To show politeness, it's better to go over and be close to pour for someone for the first time, rather than take the glass, pour, and give back. Generally, the person on your left should be filled with your right hand. Otherwise, you should use your left hand to pour wine for the person sitting in your right side. When pouring wine, never let the bottle mouth face to the guest. Slightly incline the bottle. Pour the wine gently along the inner wall of the glass. After pouring the wine, the bottle mouth should be erected carefully to prevent the wine from dropping to the outside of the glass. Then, toast. Toast can be carried out at any time in the process of drinking. In a formal banquet, the host usually toasts to the guests first, and then the banquet begins. Toast orderly, with clear priorities. You should pay attention to the toasting order, not disorderly toast. That is very impolite. Also very disrespectful to the host. Generally, the order is that the host toasts to the guest first, and in return, the guest toasts back to the host. And then all the people can choose a proper person to toast. When toasting, you must stand up and raise the glass with both hands. Don't toast to more than one person. Only elders or leaders can do this. But several people can go together to toast to one important person. Toasting should have words. When toasting, you should say something. Otherwise, it would be very embarrassing just to toast. In a formal banquet, the host will solemnly make a special speech to toast. Then cheers. In the toast, quite often, the cheerers touch each other's glasses, so it is also called clinking glasses. In Chinese, it's called 碰杯. When the host proposes a toast, usually the first one, you should stand up with the glass in hand and wait for the host's speech. Even if you don't drink, you should also pick up a teacup and pretend to be. After the host finishes his saying, then everyone needs to raise the glass and clink with each other. Don't leave out anyone at the table. If it is too far, you can just clink your glass bottle on the table to show your respect. When you make a toast, it's a kind of respect to hold a glass and touch it lower than others' glass. When drinking, you should raise your glass to the height of your eyes and say cheers at the mouth. After that, drink the wine in one gulp, or drink half of it, or appropriate amount. Then, it is necessary to hold a glass and look at the proposer of a toast, and the process is over. Here are some tips to help you to make a toast. Know your position and your role. This is because different roles lead to different ways of toasting. As a junior, the glass must be lower than the elder's glass. The attitude should be respectful. The glass should be held in both hands. We don't have to say too much. Just use body language to express our respect for our elders. They usually pat our shoulders in return to show their care and praise. As a supervisor, it is a platform for communication with subordinates. They will inevitably feel a little nervous and embarrassed. At this time, as a leader, you should treat your subordinates like friends and talk with them about things out of work, so that they can gradually relax. Family and children are the common topic to break the ice. To toast your subordinates also represents your encouragement and concern. When a subordinate toasts to a supervisor, he needs to pay attention to the initiative rule. When we toast to leaders, it's best to bottom up of our own glass and then ask the leader to be at ease. In this way, it not only reflects our respect for leaders, but also reflects our high social skills. How to toast wisely? There are 4 tips. Don't be greedy for toasts. There are often many people on the table. We should fully consider the order of toast, distinguish the primary and secondary, and avoid embarrassment. In general, toast one by one according to the position. If you don't know the identity of the people present, you can start toasting from the nearest person around you, and then give a circle. Don't toast in a hurry. For example, if a leader or client has just been offered a drink by another colleague, we should not immediately follow him. Wait for the other party to slow down, then go to toast. Repeat toasts sometimes make people annoyed. If we want to toast, we must wait until they are free. When the other people are having a meal or a conversation, it is not appropriate to propose a toast. They will be very uncomfortable and think that you do not know how to consider others. Before toasting, observe their drinking ability. For the toasting person, if the other people are really not good at drinking, there is no need to force, because we want everyone drink well, not drink down. Therefore, before toasting, we must be clear about each other's bottom line. Do not make an overdo. If you can't drink alcohol because of living habits or health reasons, you can use one of the following etiquette methods to refuse drinking. You can state objective reasons for not drinking alcohol. For example, alcohol allergy or stomach ache, or you have to drive after dinner. Take the initiative to replace wine with other drinks. Or you can ask other people, like subordinates, to drink alcohol for you. Let's watch another 2 videos to see the the real situations.
Welcome back to Local Laowai, the show that gives you everything you need to know for a smooth transition to life in China. Over the last 2 episodes, we've been taking the confusing Chinese tradition of business banquets head on. First covering how to start your banquet off on the right foot, and then learning about the essential food-related customs and etiquette every banquet goer needs to know. We're doing great so far, but now it's finally time to tackle the crux of Chinese banquet knowledge, drinking. So I hope you're thirsty, because in this episode, we'll break down the functions of each of the many beverages you'll encounter on the Chinese banquet table. Let's get started. At a Chinese business banquet, the drinks are the vehicles by which deals are made, partnerships are forged, and face is ultimately won or lost for your company. And as you can see from the array of glasses here on the table, there's quite a few vehicles by which this is all done. We have the teacup, the tall glass, the beer glass, the wine glass, and we have this little guy here, which kind of looks like a mini shot glass with a stem on the bottom. So let's talk about the uses one by one, starting right here with the teacup. Tea is drunk throughout the entire meal, and fancier banquet rooms will even have an area with a table and a sofa just for drinking tea and entertaining guests before the meal officially begins. Pouring tea for others is a quick and easy way to show respect that Chinese frequently take advantage of. When someone pours tea for you, thank them by tapping 2 fingers on a table next to your cup. If you want to show an extra amount of gratitude, thank them by placing your hands palms open down in your cup like this. You can get in on the action and score some easy points as well, but make sure to pour tea for those around you before topping off your own cup. And also, don't forget, a teacup is full at around 70%. Filling the cup all the way to the top makes it difficult to drink, and this is considered rude. Okay, so now that we've covered tea, let's talk about this guy here. The tall glass is used for a variety of non-alcoholic beverages, such as soft drinks, juice, and water. Contrary to Western custom, these drinks are often served at room temperature. In fact, in China, water is commonly served boiling hot. This is because, according to Chinese custom, cold water is actually damaging to your stomach. If you just want a regular bottle of cold water, ask for 矿泉水. 来瓶矿泉水. Okay, now let's talk about this guy here. This guy is kind of like the little brother of the taller glass, and if the taller glass isn't on the table, he'll be used for all of the other non-alcoholic beverages. But otherwise, he's used almost exclusively for beer.
我要喝啤酒.
Like soft drinks and fruit juice, beer is also commonly served at room temperature. Fortunately, more and more Chinese restaurants are keeping cold bottles of beer on hand just in case someone wants one. So if you want a cold one, ask for 冰的.
我要冰的.
好的。
Next, we have the wine glass. Now, the wine glass is a bit of a newcomer to the Chinese banquet table and is used less frequently. If wine is served, be prepared to drink it Chinese style. Wine is poured a lot higher than it would be in the West, and it's liable to be drank much faster as well. And finally, we have this curious little fellow here. Now this guy, as you might be able to gather from its miniature size, is reserved for some strong stuff. That stuff is called baijiu, and it is potent indeed.
看来该就 I need something to drink. Sir.
A refreshing bottle of baijiu, my good man. Post haste.
Okay. On my way.
No Chinese banquet has been thrown without baijiu any time within at least the last 1,000 years. Whether it be for business, a wedding, celebrating a new promotion, or heck, some people even drink a flask of this stuff for lunch. Baijiu is a clear, colorless spirit distilled from a grain called sorghum. It's strong stuff, ranging anywhere from 80 to 120 proof, and it's extremely pungent as well. While it's hard to describe its fragrance, if a bottle of baijiu is opened in the next room over, chances are you'll know it. Baijiu is the business banquet attendee's weapon of choice, and your team's ability to use it intelligently by giving and receiving toasts will determine the outcome of the match. So just how does this toasting game get played? And how can you avoid defeat? Tune in next episode. We'll discuss toasting tactics. I'm Donnie Newman. We'll see you next time. Hello and welcome back to Local Lao Wai, the show that gives you everything you need to know for a smooth transition to life in China. We've spent the last 3 episodes shedding light on all aspects of the confusing Chinese tradition of business banquets. And now we've finally come to the grand finale of Chinese banquet knowledge, toasting. When do you make them? What do you say? And most importantly, how can you avoid drinking yourself under the table? Let's head back up to the banquet room and find out. Previously, we compared a business banquet to a game of American football in which 2 teams, the hosts and the guests, each vied to bring home a victory. First, the main host will take up his tiny glass of baijiu, say a few kind words, and signal all those in attendance to ganbei. And with that, the game is on. Think of a toast as a play in a football game. With each play, the offense tries to gain ground, and the defense tries to minimize the damage. So how exactly does one run one of these plays? Let's go to the whiteboard and talk offensive strategy. Here we see the guest team's number 2 thinking about toasting her counterpart across the table. So how does she get her attention? First, make eye contact and reach for your glass. Once you do this, the target intuitively reaches for hers as well. Once you've gained your target's attention, it's time to put your oratory skills to work. Let's watch as the main host gives an epic next-level toast.
哎呀，郭总啊，最近气色不错啊，又挣大钱了吧？
哪里，你吃我喝汤，
喝一杯。
Beautiful move. He really moved the ball way up the field with that one. As any good tackling coach will tell you, you want to aim low on your target. The same applies to clinking glasses. Clinking the rim of your glass lower than that of your opponent is a sign of respect, and it's an easy way to earn politeness points. Let's see how Teddy here does with his toast.
很开心认识你啊，你真漂亮的美女啊。
The toast was solid. Let's see how he goes in for the clink. Oh, she's going low. Let's see if Teddy can correct his trajectory. And we have a pileup. Sometimes these battles for glass clinking inferiority can extend all the way to the floor. But who came out on the bottom?
Yes!
He pulled it off! And finally, no successful toast is complete without those fateful 2 words.
Ganbei, ganbei,
ganbei. Awesome. With these tips, you now know how to execute the perfect offensive play on your opponent. But offense is, of course, just half the battle. So how do you defend yourself and your team from impending attack? Let's talk about defense. Time and sobriety are both finite resources. Sipping an alcoholic drink on your own is a waste of both, like taking a knee for no reason. If you're thirsty, choose tea, water, or any other non-alcoholic drink to wet your whistle. If you feel yourself approaching your limit, switch the word ganbei with 随意, which basically means drink as much as you wish. That way you can still satisfy the toasting protocol of the meal while also slowing down the consumption of alcohol.
来，郭总，再来一杯，这酒好喝，来。
金总，来，咱俩喝，随意啊。
Sometimes towards the end of the meal, it's the team that avoids drinking the most effectively that ends up taking home the win. For example, fill your baijiu glass with water when no one's looking. Pour your drink into another glass or a nearby plant. Sorry. Or excuse yourself to the bathroom when you feel an oncoming attack.
我上厕所呀。
Finally, act drunker than you actually are. Just remember though, don't go overboard. Sobriety is the measure by which your team's performance will be judged. If you go over the edge, you lose face and your team loses points. Alright, so there you have it. With these tactics in hand, you are now finally ready for the big show. Think you can handle it?
No.
Okay, I'll admit, it's a lot to remember, but hey, it's okay. As a foreigner, no one's going to expect you to be spot on. But if you can show that you have some background knowledge about how the game is played, you have the opportunity to score big time for your team. So with that, thank you for watching Local LOI. My name is Donnie Newman.
And I'm Ted Ribbons.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Okay. From the lecture and the videos we watch, I think you get some ideas about the table manner in China, especially in business occasions. Hope you like it. Thank you.